Hi, we're just going to do a quick tutorial on brow tinting and then I'll do one on brow trimming for you. So step one, the best thing to do is to preheat or pre-warm the area, and these are ideal. These are actually just PS mini cleansing cloth from Pennies, and they're actually €3 and they're actually perfect because they're really soft. If you just run it through warm water and then place it onto her area that you want to tweeze, so the eyebrows. And if you just leave it there just for about 30 seconds to a minute, and that'll just soften the follicles, so the when you're tweezing it, that they will come out easier, so it'll be less painful for your client. So once you have done that for about 30 seconds to a minute, you can remove, and then what you need to do is just wipe over the area with a bit of dilute surgical spirits just to cleanse the area. And then what we're going to do is we are going to decide what colour we're going to go with. So my client today wants to go with dark brown, and she normally leaves it on for about a minute to a minute and a half on both brows. So just brush the brows into place. So the next thing we want to do then is we have to mix up our tint, okay? But what we'll do first, is apply the Vaseline around the eye area, and then we'll mix up the tint, because if you mix up the tint too early, it'll oxidize on you and it won't work. So the next step then is to get your petroleum jelly or your Vaseline, and you are just going to apply it above the brow, and try not to get any in the actual hair, because what the petroleum jelly does, it acts as a kind of a sealant, and it protects the skin, so it's like a barrier against the skin. So what you need to do is go above, but also then underneath the brow. When you're applying it to the other eye, just swap over the cotton bud, so you're using the other end of the cotton bud, and then apply the same. So if you get some on the hair, just make sure you wipe it off, because otherwise that area where you got the petroleum jelly won't tint. Okay, so once you've decided with your client the colour, you are going to apply your tint, so a pea size of tint into your dapping dish, and then you are going to add, according to manufacturer's instructions, you're going to add your developer or your peroxide. So it's 3% to 10 volume is what I'm using, so I'm going to just pop in 2 drops, okay, into the dapping dish. So when you have that, you are just going to mix all together. So you're going to get the chemical reaction of oxidation. So I've already checked my client, she's got no contraindications, and she's had her patch test. So what we're going to do then is you can either use an orange wood stick or you can use a cotton bud, and you are going to go against the hairs first with the tint, and then you're going to go with the hairs. So go against the hairs first, and then with the hair, and work your whole way along the brow. Now, some people have a little gap in the brow. What you can do is actually just apply a little bit of tint to the skin. It is only temporary, but it might stain the skin, all right, just for a short period. Some clients like them quite blocky, so you could do a nice defined line along the base, or some clients then like to have that ombre effect. So my client likes a little bit lighter here in the center and then darker as it goes out. So I'm going to remove from the front first. So what you do is you apply it onto the right brow first, then you go over and you do the exact same to the left brow. Okay, so most clients, you once you've put it onto this brow, you would go back to your first brow and you would wipe it off. I know I've done Abby's brows a few times, so I know I'm just going to leave it on for that little bit longer, but I will remove it from the front just so you get that more ombre effect. So if you get any little bits on the skin, that's what your Vaseline is there for, but just clean up with a cotton bud. Okay, if you are doing both tweezing and tinting, always tint the brows first and then you go in with the tweezers, because otherwise the pores are going to be open and you're going to get chemical into the skin. So I'm just going to check those. Oops. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the removal on the inner corners, and you want to use damp cotton wool for this. So I'm just going to remove from the inner corner here. So you need to make sure when you're wiping the area clean that all the tint is removed, otherwise it will keep oxidating on you and it'll just get darker and darker. Try as well to use a different piece of cotton for each eye, so just in case there is an infection or something, that you're not going to cross-infect from one eye to the other. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove from the end of my first brow. So just go with the brow first, and then give the eye a little bit of a stretch and very gently go back and forth. And you just need to check and make sure that no tint comes off on your cotton. And we'll repeat on the left eye. Once you're happy that nothing is left on the brows, you can remove the Vaseline around the eye area. And then what you need to do is show your client then the result in the mirror. So you're going to show your client the result, and she's happy with that.